Good morning, everybody, and welcome to today's episode of Market Check, brought to you by BB. A reminder, as always, that there is no second best daily YouTube live stream to talk about these markets. Guys, we go live today to the Bullen Wall. Last week, we were live at the Berlin Wall, watching the the Bulletariats battle the Berlins. I'm sorry, I can't even keep a straight face while I make the joke, but I wanted to highlight the importance of these levels. Obviously, we did this with Bitcoin last week with the Berlin Wall. We're doing it this week with ETH and the Bullen Wall because it's still holding for now. But yeah, I mean, the importance of this level cannot be understated. I think kind of across the board, right? Like for ETH, it's here. For Bitcoin, it's 58K, that pivot, that line in the sand to turn the lights back on in this market. But if you lose these levels that we're currently holding, obviously, you know, the title asks a very important question that I want to delve into potentially today. But I'm Snorlax. You guys also know me as Tommy. I'm joined by Jackus and Big Louie Tuesday. Welcome, guys. Hope you all have had a fantastic start to your week so far. Yeah, second day of the week already, but Bitcoin and ETH have had no shortage of lower time frame volatility. I was talking about this with our morning subscribers this morning. Like it's not a surprise that you see so much lower time frame volatility around a potentially a key market structure break, right? Like that's people defending positions. That's people potentially getting into position for a market structure break. And thus, the price action that we are going to see kind of transpire after this consolidation down here resolves is going to be especially important. So, but before we can talk about that alpha, guys, before we can kind of start breaking down the Berlin or the Bullen Wall in a little bit more detail, I'm going to ask you to smash that like button. I see we've got a few people in here who have already been doing that before we went live. So shout out to you guys. You are the real MVP. I would cry like Kevin Durant if I were capable of doing so, but unfortunately I am not, at least not when I'm talking about markets. But we always appreciate when you guys can smash the like button for us. We're going to do our best to give you a great show today. And I'd love to just look at, you know, stocks and crypto today. No soybeans. That would be fantastic. But yeah, to dive into things a bit more granularly, I mean, I can't reiterate enough. Like this is the level that Bitcoin and ETH need to hold. Otherwise, you're going to see selling accelerate probably in the not so distant future. So, I mean, it really, to me, it feels like a put up or shut up time for the bulls. And I know you say that and you're like, well, Tommy, we're in a bull trend for basically over 2 years. Why, or not even 2 years, but like a year and a half. Why did the bulls need to put up or shut up? Because we are below support. We're sliding a little bit here and we need a reclaim in order to, I mean, the reclaim is just context, right? I mean, the reclaim is important from a positioning standpoint, not from like, okay, price, yada, yada, yada. We have to get like level to level. We have to get above this level to be okay. It's like, positioning wise, you've broken down from the range and now you risk expansion. And positioning is going to begin to reflect that if you cannot reclaim the range low. So that's why it's contextually important and positionally important for both Bitcoin and Ethereum. But obviously, we've gotten some really nice bounces on altcoins across the board so far this week. I do think it is worth considering. Are these mean reversion bounces on a Monday and Tuesday, or are they altcoins showing that they are ready to be bottomed while Bitcoin and ETH continue to kind of diddle around here? I mean, I look at something like TIA, obviously performing really well today. Meme coins bounced back really heavily here over the last 2 days. Popcat, Bonk, Soul memes especially. I guess Pepe was up a lot yesterday too as well. But yeah, I mean, I think you're seeing some positive signs from beta. They just need Bitcoin and ETH to help them out a little bit. Of course, they might not, though, as well. And we're going to talk about that on this show. We're going to talk about the stock market as well. I mean, I know it's funny because stocks are literally just kind of up only right now. If you had been trading equities rather than crypto over the last few months, you'd probably be a pretty happy camper. You would have no idea why there is such a negative sentiment kind of around Twitter, kind of around the market. I think it really is just probably exclusive to CT anyway, rather than, you know, FinTwit, because FinTwit has had a lot of opportunities and they still do. They still do, man. Like Apple has shown a tremendous amount of strength, obviously, over the last few sessions. Pretty likely that that's going to continue. And then, of course, small caps beginning to find a bit in spurts as well. But I don't want to ramble too long, guys. I want to get into these markets. I want to talk about kind of what we're seeing. Yeah, big levels across the board here for Bitcoin and ETH. Obviously, that goes without saying. So, what are we seeing, and what are y'all's thoughts, kind of on? I mean, at lose this level and lights out. It's an applicable title today.
Louis, you want to take it? You want to begin?
Sure. Yeah, I would have to say we're at a key pivot point here for Bitcoin. We are literally at the Pico tick low of that deviation low on Bitcoin we got back in May. What does that sound? Are we good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good.
We hear you.
Okay. I think it was Discord. I didn't exit out. But yeah, if you could pull up the Bitcoin chart there, Tommy,
Yes.
or if you want to just give it to me, that's fine. Actually, I
Oh
don't know.
yeah, take the chart, brother.
Let me pull a Tommy. There you go. Yeah, this is it. This is my thoughts right now on a zoomed out Bitcoin view. It's very simple. We got to, in times like this, there's a lot of noise. There's a lot of theories, a lot of theses, a lot of crap talk going on between the bulls and the bears. This is what we have to deal with right now. We're at that tick low, that deviation of the range we got back in May. We are currently slightly above that. So it's really either we can make this a local low, head back to that key 60K level and see what happens then. Or if bulls don't step in here and we start to see some spot buying going on, likely that demand level lower around between 50 and 53K is our next level of support. And there's no denying that. So we can't ignore that. We just have to keep it level to level. But as of now, I'm seeing some stuff on the lower time frames that that we're chopping. Can we roll over? Yes, but can it also form a low time frame bottom? Also yes. So up or down. Basically what it comes down to. I hate to say that, but that's really what we're at. It's like, hold this level, we're holding it, and maybe even chop or head higher, or if we lose a level, we have lower to go. It's very simple. And yeah, let's look at the lower time frame as well here. Let's get rid of these little squiggles. Let's go to this one. So this is what we're working with here, guys. This is a 3-hour chart. This is a low time frame look. You're probably asking, well, what does that matter? It's such a low time frame. Well, bottoms tend to start on the lower time frames. You'd be surprised how many times I've caught macro bottoms in this bull run for Bitcoin with small low time frame structures such as this. But yeah, we're working. We had our initial plunge down. We had our bounce, our relief bounce, which is very common. And we did come back down and kind of scare everybody the other day, thinking that was it. We were heading lower, and we did hold. So we are kind of getting a little sort of ascending price action here on the lower time frames. But this level here, 58.5, I think is a key level here. If we can get back above these highs here, if we can get back above these local highs, I think 60K, 65, 60K, 60.5K is our next level. And that's the real decision time. So if we get above these highs here, it's not much to celebrate. It's a start. But obviously this 60.5K level is the key level to flip. As you can see here. This is the bottom of our range. So we can come down a little farther here into this structure, hold ascending support, and then head higher. I've seen that a million times. Or we can push here, or we could just and do that. So this is what I'm watching on the lower time frames. But yeah, same thing as I said in the beginning. This is the red line is where we kind of need to hold. We start to lose these lows here. We're looking at this demand area here. And that's basically it. Not much more than that. You got to keep it simple in times like these.
I'll keep it simple too. I mean, Capo just posted a tweet today after 5 days that he's still bullish and especially on altcoins for the next 2 weeks. So I think we are
No,
all
I thought he was bearish now.
No,
Are you
he's
sure?
bullish, man. He
I
was
thought he
bearish the entire time since the bottom.
Man.
Just 8 hours ago. Yes, I am bullish for the next few weeks, especially on altcoins. So I don't know.
Is he on Telegram? I gotta follow that channel, man.
No, it was like he's on Telegram, but this was live on Twitter.
I want to say Capo's been bullish since like at the top of the ETF range, and then he called exactly what was going to happen, but he didn't long it. I think he got bearish at the low again, and then on the way up, I think he got bullish.
Thanks,
I think that's what he did, but
this is like the meme. Very nice. Happy for you. You know,
very nice. Much appreciated.
That little kid that's just like, you know, grim face, and he's like, very nice. Good for you. Happy.
What do you got to say,
man.
Jackus?
I mean, what I've been saying, right? Again, like I do not flip that easily. When the macro, when the trend changes, I change too, and then I stand by it until I see further strengths of reclaim. And I said many times that the market has been bullish. It made sense to be bullish before, but right now, for whatever reason, right, we can say it was whether it was German government or US government or miners or this or that, it doesn't matter. The charts flipped and we gotta change. And until we see further reclaim of higher prices, I tend to think that the mid time frame is now bearish. I still remain macro bullish because I still think that at some point the selling will come to an end, and the forced sellers will be out. At that point, there will not be any sellers, and the market should continue higher. The macro structure also remains bullish. So in that regard, again, I do think we will continue higher. It just got postponed yet again here. So it's not pretty. I do not enjoy it, right? I would, again, much more enjoy if we were bullish. And, you know, most of people that's been with us know that I've been bullish since very low prices. But locally, the trend has changed, and I just gotta respect that. It is what it is. Again, not happy about it, but yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I'm bullish. I wouldn't say I'm bearish. I would say I'm bullishly cautious here. It's definitely like if you're not cautious here, you should be. But
I suppose it really comes to the time frames, right? Because like bullish and bearish is really a vague term that doesn't express what you mean. It's like lots of time, you know, you'll hear people talk about, for example, capitalism, and one will think of it this and the other that, and they'll both think differently and say it's good or bad. So the same thing is about time frames. If, like, again, I'm speaking, for example, on the daily time frame, it's different than when I look at the weekly to monthly time frame. And that's very important to differentiate in markets. Very, very important.
Right. Like me, like I'm playing the longer term crypto Bitcoin market cycle that we're used to seeing. So that's why I haven't de-risk as much, because in my experience, especially like last cycle, I started buying in 2018. You know what I mean? So honestly, most of my time in crypto has been downside. I mean, other than like 2021, you know what I mean? Like a lot of the time. What?
Perma pain.
Yeah, I just love pain, you know. But I mean, it's true. It's like most of the time in crypto, it's like I'm just buying red and buying bear markets. And if you hold through a lot of that, eventually it works out in your favor. Is that the answer for everybody? No, definitely not. Like I'm working on building like my what I would call like my rock or my nugget. Like I'm still in the process of building my wealth. So in my eyes, I'm taking more risk. And in my experience, holding through these drawdowns and playing the full term of the cycle has worked out for me financially. I wouldn't be in the financial position I am today if I were to be buying and selling throughout the last market cycle, because we have gotten 30 to 35% pullbacks during the last market cycle. So that's how I'm playing it. But other people, let's say you're already a millionaire or you already got a couple million in the bank, and you got to protect that wealth. It might make more sense for you to de-risk and wait for better scenarios because you've already created that wealth for yourself. And that's what I was trying to say in the Discord over the weekend was everyone's got their own financial situation. Everyone's got a unique situation for themselves, and they got to make that decision for themselves, whether it's worth the risk for them or it's not, so that's kind of where my head's at.
I think for me, it's like I view this pivot that we're at as like I can totally understand why you would be bullish here, right? Like this is kind of the last level to be bullish before a cascade, right? So it's like it's the point of literally peak risk reward, because if you're wrong, like you get out and you're probably wrong in a big way. But if you're right, obviously you basically snipe the bottom. The only problem is, we've kind of had this downtrend manufactured in a way where every bottom at important levels has been bait. And, they run it up a little bit and then they just end up nuking it straight through support over and over and over again. So it's, buying spot here is easy to me because, like altcoins hit levels of demand. Bitcoin bounced on the first go. But if Bitcoin gives out again, then I think you do have to listen to that context, right? Which is that Bitcoin could fall significantly further, even in a high time frame bull trend, right? Like I want to highlight what Jack has said earlier. Like this is, in my opinion, mid time frame bearishness against high time frame bullishness, right? Like we've been grinding lower and we could keep grinding lower. Like this is the level, guys, where if it gives out, I do think we get a cascade. And if it doesn't, congratulations, you sniped the bottom. You're at least going back to range highs. I mean, if you did catch along and it flips like 64, 65K, like I would be diamond handing my long if that's what ends up playing out. But it's like I said, guys, this is, they call it peak risk reward, or they kind of phrase it like that for a reason, because this is the lowest amount of risk you can take for the most amount of reward. But of course, if your risk is invalidated, you need to be able to respect that. But not to yap too much, but I wanted to highlight as well what Louis said, that a lot of people are in different kind of phases of life and what they're planning for as far as an investor in this market. I do think in crypto, there are a lot of cases, where price can go down significantly, and still that time in the market aspect will save you, because this is traditionally the market with the highest, or with the most asymmetric returns to the upside over a multi-year period. If assuming that you didn't pick an asset that went to zero, I kind of highlight a ticker that we were talking about last summer, which was DMT, and some of you might be trading it now. Maybe you were trading it back then. I remember when we talked about DMT, it was, I think it's about like $68 right now. It was about $250 probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. But when we were talking about it in the Discord last summer, it was $3. It was like at public pre-sale prices, and we bought it and we sold above $40. And we're like, wow, yeah, great trade. And you know what happened? We took our eyes off the asset. The asset came back to 10 or $15. So like, yeah, we were right to sell it. But what ended up happening is it went significantly higher than where we ended up selling. So I do think there is a lot of validity to time in the market, assuming you're not just holding complete garbage, right? Because a lot of people are holding just bottom of the barrel meme coins. And that is not what I'm referring to.
That's the problem.
That is not what I'm referring to when I say that these things are going to come back. But like, I mean, a good asset that you can hold with conviction, you could draw down on it a lot and it could still come back. And there's a lot of power to the time spent in this market. Pretty much every asset that I've bought since 2022 right? Like, so since the bottom, everything that I bought and sold thinking that I made a profit on it ended up trading higher, I would say, at one point or another. So something to consider as well.
What are your thoughts on this flag?
I just want to say thank you, Sawyer, for
Thanks,
that comment.
It ain't easy.
Being
Yeah.
cheesy.
Listen, before we get to the bull flag, Louis, again, just to calm everyone down, right? I would, because people get to the extremes of sentiment all the time. What I would add to that, right, to keep the eyes on the forest, not the trees, is again that you do not have guys like Larry Fink and BlackRock entering the industry in full force to cheat it, right? They are here to take this industry into a 10 trillion market capitalization to double digits. Right now it's like 2. So at minimum, of course. So that's very important to keep in mind, right? Like they didn't launch the Bitcoin ETS and it becoming the most successful ETF launch in history to just cheat few days or few months later. The same sentiment was during 2022. The market was heavily. Sorry, I was hearing a background noise. Back then, it also had one of the first sentiments, and I was saying like this is a nonsense because Bitcoin is big enough not to fail, but still cheap enough to make great returns, especially for the big boys. So at that point, it became pretty clear, and I think it is still the same thing, right? So you should, and I do not think we are going sub 39K, but you need to be able to survive the local postpone of the bullishness. And again, it could have easily continued higher the way stocks, commodities, everything moved higher, right? I would even dare to say that the local breakdown is the same as with FTX during November 2022. It was an unexpected event to the market. Crypto market dropped lower, but it was a fake out. Otherwise, the market would have bottomed prior to that and continued higher, just like all other macro assets. And guess what happened after, right? The market saw through the bullshit. It absorbed all the selling and then quickly repriced higher to where it should have been. So that is, in my opinion, what evades crypto here. I think, longer term speaking now, again, that could come in August, September, maybe even November, right? Like we cannot predict exactly the timing, but I think it's going to be bullish again. Again, you need to keep the eyes on the bigger picture here. But shorter term, it's all over to me. So I wanted to mention that clearly.
There's also a question if you could highlight Smandal's question, and maybe either Tommy or Jackus. I'm interested in what you have to say about that question as well.
Highlighting defining timeframes. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like you have the lower timeframes, which is probably basically everything under an hour. I mean, you could probably even go a little above that too, depending on how lower time frame, how you define it. But like, to me, lower time frame is a very, very lower time frame. So if I'm talking lower time frame, I'm talking like probably spread out over 1, 2, 3 sessions of time. So like a day. Mid time frame, anything from like 1 to 2 hours, probably up to like a day, like a daily candle, and then everything above a daily candle I would consider high time frame. Some might consider daily to be mid time frame though.
Yeah, so to me, it would depend on what context we are talking about. But for me, mostly higher time frame is anything from monthly to weekly. Mid time frame is from weekly to daily, and then lower time frame could be daily to H4. It would depend at what context we are speaking again. If we were, for example, speaking in an intraday context, then you could have lower time frames being M15, then mid time frame H1 to H4, and then higher time frame H4 to daily, right? So that depends. I do not think intraday traders care much about monthly or weekly levels. I mean, they probably do highlight them, but like they operate on the lower ones, and I am the opposite of that. When I say macro higher time frame, I mean like monthly, weekly, and then mid time frame could be like weekly to daily, and then lower time frame daily to H4, basically. Again, because sometimes these time frames overlay each other, right? So it is what it is.
Yeah, when I think about time frames, I would say it's more or less like low time frame for me, and this is going to be different for everyone. Like as you could already tell, it's different. It just depends. Like when I think time frames, I think okay, a low time frame is like a day trade. You know what I mean? Like you're gonna open and close that trade in the same day. So you're scalping basically. You're catching quick gains. Mid-term time frame to me would be anywhere from a couple days to maybe a week or so. And then long term would be weeks to months holding a position, and even longer. Like it could be like up to 6 months. You know what I mean, on a long term swing, and that's more or less what that's how I like to play, like those longer term swings. So that's how I look at it. But everyone's different, so it really just depends on how you look at how long you're going to hold the asset. Is it a trade? Is it a long term swing? Or are you just looking to get in and out in a week or so? So that's basically how you got to look at it and what's comfortable for you. Like I've noticed, like when I was trading a lot of leverage, that was short-term price action, in and out in a day, in and out in a couple of days. But for me, it was very stressful, and it was very time consuming, and it taxed on me. And I found that I'm better off as a trader. And I'm not gonna say I'll never trade leverage and I'll never scalp. Like I will once you get a trending market. But in these choppy markets, lower time frames are tough. You're getting a lot of back and forth, back and forth. So that's why you're seeing a lot of these lower time frame traders get chopped up. And that's why I think everyone's so emotional, because they're trying to catch the big move on leverage and they're just getting chopped to bits. I've found that I'm a way better in a confidence level, more comfortable playing the longer term swings, whether that's weeks to months, even to years, holding positions and riding those cycles over time. That's how I find my edge, especially in times like these, because in times like these, I'm actually pretty calm. And I'm pretty conservative, and I'm pretty like relaxed when other people are freaking out. So you got to just find your sweet spot and find your edge, and then ride that edge. That's really what it comes down to, in my opinion. We lost Jack.
Jack is disconnected, but I think as well, Louis, something a lot of traders really need to understand that is very difficult for most people to understand, because there's so much going on in crypto all the time, right? Like it's a 24/7 market.
That's another
and you see everybody around you. You see like what you think are everybody around you making a ton of money. So you feel like you have to make a decision or make a trade right away to have any chance of making it or to grow your bankroll. But what I've continually said is most people, including myself, have no real actionable edge to trade basically 90% of the year. And that's very difficult when that's kind of difficult to grasp when you are in a market that, like I said, it trades 24/7, and it seems like there's always opportunity present, but realistically, you're just not going to have an edge to be able to grind into like life-changing money that often during the year. And if you did, like, kudos. I don't know many people that do, but most people will have probably 2 or 3, maybe 4 plays in a year that are truly worth their attention. So don't give too much attention to something where you don't have an edge, or where maybe you think you have an edge, but your thesis is really just kind of poorly thought out. And I think the second thing I just mentioned is really where the experience comes in, because like experience will tell you whether or not you think you have an actionable edge to grind, or whether or not it's just kind of like, I think I see something in the charts, but it's not really, like I'm projecting maybe my bias, and there's a difference in that. But that's just a rambly statement, but I think it needs to be said, Louis, because
Yeah.
everybody everybody thinks traders have an edge, like the best traders have an edge all the time. I would argue the best traders know they don't have an edge all the time. And that is a huge part of their edge. I promise I won't say the word edge anymore on this call. But,
Very edgy talk.
I'm the straight edge superstar, man. I'm like the WWE wrestler.
Dancy Christian, I think that is. I don't trade futures on a weekly to monthly basis. I don't recommend that to anybody. As you can see, a lot of the people that did that are almost round tripped. I was gonna say something along those lines, and I was like, you know what, I'm not. But no, I don't. So I'm trading spot. So I'm just buying spot and holding it, and that's how I'm most comfortable. And like I said, like. And I think it's kind of a mind game too, because when the markets get choppy and they range, you feel like you're not making progress. And that actually pushes you to want to, okay, let me start using leverage. Let me scalp. Let me make some gains that way. And that's what pushes you to start trading in probably the hardest trading environments there is. Because I know that because I've done it and I've blown up accounts multiple times. Like, sadly, in this game, the best way to learn is through fire. Like, you got to be casted through fire. Like, once you lose enough money and you bang your head against the wall enough times, it's either you go, all right, I got to figure it out, or I'm not doing this anymore, and you quit. So that's really what it comes down to. But so to answer your question, I don't trade futures on those long time frames. I do it with spot. And crypto, you don't need leverage at the end of the day. If you have a long enough time horizon and you're playing a long-term cycle, you really don't. It's the most volatile asset class in the world. And then people are trying to add 20 to 50x leverage on top of it. Like, what do you think's going to happen?
I'm going to trade a meme coin that's a derivative of Pepe, that's a derivative of ETH, which is a derivative of Bitcoin, and I'm going to do it on 50x leverage.
Yeah.
Listen, the TradFi guys are looking for 10% a year. The crypto guys are looking for 10% an hour.
True.
Returns. It is what it is. So listen, when it comes to the time frames, I'll share my experience too, right? So the daily and higher, the downside to them is that they take long to play out. And it's kind of boring sometimes. It's not as much fun as watching, those early candles print. Like, there is lots of M15 candles during a day. There is only one daily candle during one day. I say this like it's so obvious, but people tend to forget that. And so I get it that lots of people want to watch M15, or hourly, right? But the thing is that what I learned when it comes to an actual real life trading is that when you have lower time frames, what will happen is that if you have live, and I understand that some people probably don't, but if you do, it's just super hard to manage those positions or just be there, right? So many times what is going to happen is that you will have some edge, as Tommy was saying. But that edge will come when you are visiting your family, or when you go on a bike, or when you are watching a movie or whatever, right? And that's a problem, because then when it comes and you are not there and you will miss it, I'm going to bet you that you will not miss the losing one, right? And that will cause you... No, that's for real. Like, that's a real... Listen, you will always catch the losing one, but you are damned to miss most of the winning ones. And when that comes, it will only cause you to make stupid decisions, like trying to make it back, those angry revenge trades and so forth. So that's not fun. And or you just have to be glued to the screen, right? Like, you'll go to the cinema, you will not enjoy the movie because you'll be watching your phone. Like, is my edge there? Not fun. So it's sometimes even hard on a daily candle, right, to do that, but way more manageable. So that's where I'm comfy playing. I also think about like this breakdown, right? Like, it broke down a few days ago. and we are still debating, digesting what is really happening and looking at it from different angles. And each day we find a different angle to it. And it takes time to build that bias and confirmation, right? So I feel that working on a daily and above time frame is, well, it works for me at least. And I'm not saying like do not use H4 or so, especially for execution, looking at liquidity levels, even structure there, right? Like H4 structure is definitely useful, but like be careful depending on lower time frames in the sense what I've spoken about. So I do hope this is beneficial to someone. They don't go through the same mistakes or experience that I had, but up to everyone.
Yeah. Preach.
The comments are just cracking me up, man.
And you said edge too many times.
We really did, man. We should be getting paid for some of these words based on how many times we say them in a show. Like
we might
when
have
edge coin, when edge coin,
when edge coin.
Oh man! As I'm sitting here staring at the Bitcoin 3 hour, we have reclaimed the 3 hour 22 EMA. All right,
it's on the edge.
it's on the edge. I'm sitting on the edge of my seat.
Oh my god!
Yeah. Let's. Anyways,
so funny. Listen, I love it. Like even during times like these, we can still have fun, laugh at ourselves in a way too, right? And endure. So good. Love the comment.
What were you getting into, Louis?
what do you guys think of? I mean, obviously, I had this drawn like this, and I totally moved the goalposts. Obviously, you're not supposed to do that. But I'm just, would you guys entertain something like? I want to know your thoughts on something like this. Let me get this freaking EMA off. That was a joke. But a larger, bull flag type look, where this would kind of be, the inflection point. Regardless, whichever way you look at it, if it loses this level anyways, we're kind of toast. So I don't see why you couldn't entertain a look like this as well. Whether that's Hopium or not. I mean, I think we got 3 touches here as well. I got 4 touches. So what are your guys' thoughts on something like this?
I almost feel like I'd like to see the channel fake a breakdown and then get a reclaim. And if they got a trap set up like that, then I think it would look really good. I like when patterns, not when patterns play, but when patterns are preyed on. And so maybe somebody like longing the bottom of this channel gets stopped out of their long or liquidated, and then that turns out to be a trap. I think that would be a setup that would look pretty good. But
well, I mean, in my opinion, you would have. I mean, not like you're saying we can't get it again, but this might have been the fake out. Then you got the coming back again here, and then now we go. But I agree, we could definitely do this again.
Can you guys tell me what do you think if you're gonna put on a blank weekly chart? What do you think of the fact that we lost the structure there? Like we had a close below.
You're asking me to pull up a Dr. Outlook timeline.
True that.
Like, oh, it's freaking drawing tool, man.
How is this time frame looking to you? Because it's not looking good to me. Like locally, to be fair, right?
No, 100%.
Like longer term, until the end of the year, it's looking good. Local is, to me, it's not. By the way, just to quickly answer that question, Daniel asking where I'm from. I'm from Czech Republic. That's in Europe, next to Germany. For burgers, American mind cannot comprehend.
Can you just go over there and see what the hell's going over there in Germany, Jackus? Just take a quick
Germany walk. Is wrecked.
Is that like, so like to me the pattern of selling doesn't make sense. Like whoever is advising them, to me it seems a little predatory. Or they're that desperate for money that they just have to cheat everything just to salvage themselves. Like
study the art of causing cascades, Louis.
Yeah. Listen, even I'm not sure you know who Tony Cross is, Louis. I'm sure Tommy knows, but
Oops.
I do not know if you know this, Tommy, but Tony Cross said that he is afraid to live in Germany right now.
I did see that. I did see that.
That's a statement. That's a statement.
What's going
And
on over there?
Well, it's because of all the stupid. Let's not get into politics, but it's just too much migration, and he's just scared really because it's becoming dangerous there. I've spoken to lots of Germans myself. Hopefully, it's like luckily it's not as bad in Czech so far, but rough. Jackie's, let's see your face, bro. No, I'm ugly fuck, man. I'm 300 pounds, kilograms, whatever. Fat ass.
Nah, you're a skinny European. Who are you kidding, Jackus?
A Euro Chad. Oh man.
Yes, I would say this. That's why 60K is such a key reclaim. Multiple ways you look at it, you got to get back above 60K. There's no arguing that fact.
Jackus, that comment had multiple layers to it because finance.
Yeah.
But, no, Louis, I agree with you. I mean, you kind of have to reclaim that wick paint. It looks like a pretty exaggerated deviation at this point if you're going to get it, but that to me is the only bull case I can come up with.
Yeah.
Is if you're able to kind of flip that wick from the April low. Otherwise, I mean, obviously the next structure of support is down at that ETF range.
Yeah. Well, we have here 52, 53, which zoomed in is a little, range there. And also you have these key levels here from 2021. So we can't forget that. So we are pretty damn close to it if we were to get another stab down. But if we lose that, then it's obviously here because we have this. So level to level. That's how, let me go back to the other chart.
Level to level, me matey.
Yeah. Oh, I deleted all my drawings. So
I love the dynamics of level to level, man. Usually when people are talking about like level to level on a super granular basis, I'm not talking about you, Louis. I'm talking about like, when people are like, oh, if we lose 57K, we'll be at 56K. If we lose 56K, we'll be at 55K. To me, that kind of signals like, okay, this person's maybe a bit overexposed.
All right, let's go back to the 3 hour. We're pumping. Boys, we're pumping.
Boys, we're pumping. Where's Tucker when you need him?
I know. Where is Tucker?
That's right. He's in Europe. The American mind can comprehend.
He was like, what are these guys doing? They are like kicking the ball with their foot.
Tucker is very American. You know what I mean? Like,
he's the most red-blooded American I know.
100%. 100%.
Oh man! So if you guys are enjoying this content, we've been pretty lax today, but if you are enjoying this content, we very much appreciate if you could smash that like button for us. We do have about 250 of you watching live right now, so we would be very appreciative, of course, if you could move the mouse a little bit over to that like button, and if not, totally okay as well. I hope if you're deliberately not hitting the like button because I'm saying this, that you Anon, have a great week. Max will be back I think later this week. He is also in Europe, as you guys know. He's spending quality family time while we're stuck with this price action.
Yeah, great timing, Max.
Nah,
he's enjoying well deserved time off.
Thank you, Dorito.
Thanks, Dorito.
That's nice. That's nice.
Appreciate it. Yeah, no. Max has some well-deserved time off for sure. He's that guy's a workhorse.
He is.
I don't know many guys like him, especially in our age group. I know we're all in the younger age category, but yeah, no, he well-deserved time for him for sure. If one of you guys could take the chart, though, I have to go to the bathroom.
Oh yeah, I got
Be
you.
right back.
I guess I'm gonna pull a me then. Wow. I still have the Berlin Wall on this. The Berlin Wall held, unfortunately. Pretty nasty rejection.
So wait, so what do you guys think of the weekly candle? Like, you didn't answer me.
I answered. You were laughing at the comments, Jackus.
Yeah, that's possible. Like, the comment section is really good today. Like, sometimes it's not so much, but today is good.
You know what this kind of reminds me of, Jackus? People are not going to like this comparison. Like this structure too. I've referenced this offhand more times than I can count. And I don't think anybody really understands what I'm referencing. But we've seen this. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but like we've seen precedents for this, right? Like the double top into a nuke, into a V recovery, like 5 or 6x above the previous highs, right? Like this is kind of what I think the bull case for something like Bitcoin continuing to slide is, even though it doesn't feel like it. And why I say time in the market matters, but I feel like I see that structure when you look at like the weekly chart on Bitcoin and ETH up here, like the double top near all-time highs. So no, there's not precedence for it on Bitcoin. There's not precedence for it on Bitcoin, but I do think there's precedence for it within crypto. And I'm a buyer on any exaggerated dip, which we do have weekly RSI now trading below the 50 level. This is kind of like, if you don't reclaim this wick, you know, you are looking at the next demand zone being effectively, where's the box? Damn it. I cannot find the right rules, man.
It's in the first one, I believe.
Oh my gosh. Are you sure?
No. Wait, yeah. Wait. Let me open my trading.
Wow.
It's in the fifth
Here
one.
it is. Here it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then you're looking at like here, right? Like this is the next natural level of demand. I bet if you drew a volume profile there, yeah. I mean, that's the value area high from effectively this entire range. Like this is where you would bid if we continue to fall. So I am in agreement with this. Like this is lose this level or it's lights out for now.
Exactly. Now let's see what the Jeets are going to do or not. Where is Louis though?
We scared the host, I guess. We did some putting while you were away. Sorry, Louis.
That's all right. It's better off I'm away when that happens.
I mean, this is high time frame level to level, me matey. Like these are the levels that you have to pay attention to. Obviously, demand catching us from up here. I think that's maybe something to watch out for. A lot of distribution occurred at this level back in 2021 right here. And above it, obviously, we deviated and failed. It needs to hold as demand right now, or this is another deviation. But what I would say is you guys hear me talk about taps at resistance all the time. How, like, if you get 4, CZ. Like, if there was to be something where you come back like this fourth leg right here literally just goes straight up.
Yeah.
Smash.
Yeah. Smash. That's like that's why I remain macro bullish amongst other things, because this is a giant, range that's been going on since 2021. Just this whole structure is a giant range that is going to send higher. I mean, study Tesla cycles. That's what's happening here on BTC.
Basically saw this same thing with Bonk. 1, 2, 3. Oh my God.
Ooh, that was like a nice big ascending triangle too, base. You pull a ascending trend line from like those lows.
Is Bonk leading the cryptocurrency market? My column.
Mhm.
But I do think, RSI trading below 50 here. This is where you need to kind of see, like, probably this week some buyback. Otherwise, I think selling will probably accelerate. We can go some momentum on some lower time frames too to see what that would look like.
What is the narrative behind Bonk, Tommy? Because I'm starting to like that rotation. I would need to see more, but if you can hold on until like end of July, I think this could run again. But let me know the fundamentals for Bonk. I mean, I'm joking, but you know what I mean.
The fundamentals for Bonk token are that everybody in Solana kind of has some bonk, I guess, for like airdrops. The price point is bullish, I guess. And then I would say that maybe this chart isn't as bullish anymore, but it was bullish. This was a big reason. Oh my God. Wow.
I mean,
You know what we
if
call
whip
this,
is jumping,
guys? We call this liquidity rotating back to its natural home. So the whip
that's
pump
true.
probably just came right out of bonk.
Bonk's pumping.
Bonk is pumping, especially against whiff.
Oh, that's Bonk whiff. I thought that was Bonk USD. I was like, damn, it's breaking out.
Listen, I'm gonna Tommy.
All right.
Just gonna remind though what we spoken about a few weeks earlier, because there's been, when we broke down here, I was saying that that's like perfect breakdown of a structure of distribution, and what's most likely going to happen is a bounce and then further sell off down, because there is no like meme behind the dog with head. It just, as we laugh,
The dog with a hat.
yeah. No, it used to be dog with a head. Now it's just a dog with a head. So that's a key difference, right? And it really had nothing. Like there was just influencers load up, marketing, and then influencers unload. This was their average game, and that's it. They dumped on you, made millions of dollars. And why would the meme pump, right? That's what I was saying here. That probably going to bounce out of all those liquidations and then further down. I mean, maybe by some miracle, it comes back and turns around the trend, but you first need to see some structure reclaim. Otherwise, you will just keep on being dumped from these influencers and the bag holders, because otherwise it can just perpetually bleed down, really, right? Like there are better memes, in my opinion, than this one. So, anyways.
Well, the market has shown that when it gets tired of a dog token, it gets tired of a dog token.
Wait, you guys didn't see the screen?
No.
Oh shit! It did not. It not share it. I was legit on the screen talking here and like.
Have you
Never
touched
mind.
that drawing from when we were talking about it probably like 3 or 4 weeks ago?
Yeah. Wait. Which one? This one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So I was just saying, like what I was saying, just that, like right here, I was calling for a bounce, right? And then, but like the thing is that when the chart is dead, right? That's when you know it's dead. But it will always produce that bounce, which is a great shortable opportunity. So like when you get a structure, right, you first need to wait for this, which doesn't mean you are buying. You wait for pullback, which you buy, right? But you need this first. So that's the same here, right? Like when it was still here, could have continued higher. When it was right here, like look at this one, right? I think yes, we were first discussing it right here. And I said, hey, it broken the structure, right? This is a slow bleed. And then I was saying that it does remind me of that BTC structure, which was right here. Wait. Right here.
Back when it was topping, It kind of reminded me of the spell chart. I didn't want to believe it, but now it is. I want to say it probably looks almost exactly like the spell chart.
Spell chart. I'll put it on. But
I'll
I
have
just
to.
want to finish.
It's been a while since I looked at it, but yeah, keep
We
going.
had a well discussion with Max, right? And Max was raising really good arguments, but at the end of the day, not on the show, but at the end of the day, he said, "I'm cheating on my wave. I trust Jake is on this," and it did play out. Like right here, listen, right here, that was the same. The market was cheating the structure. You see slow bleed and then further cascade, right? You then get the sell-off, which is this one. You get the complacency bounce or like liquidation bounce, but then it continues lower. So I think that this is what awaits with basically here. Like where is the support here? There is no support.
Jack, is
So
we load the boat on this, the blue box?
sorry, once again, tell me.
Do we load the boat on this, the blue box, or do you think it's dead forever?
I think it's dead forever, but I think it's going to probably bounce from here. But would I bet it? No, because there would be better coins to play. I just think that you can like delete with from your.
I thought about it this morning for the first time ever. I was like, I kind of really want to delete Whiff from the watch list. I can't imagine that I'm ever going to trade it again.
Yeah,
I remember around the time of the top. I mean, we didn't sell the like Pico Schmico top of Whiff, but we were talking about at the top how it was a pretty crowded trade in CT because, and I think this is true more, and I remember us talking about this too, like it's true more of Whiff than it is of something like Pepe and Bonk, which even though they've been around for longer, you had so much of CT buy into Whiff so quickly that obviously the pump, I mean, it mooned because everybody wanted to catch it. But after it was done, as we've seen, there are literally no more marginal buyers for this token left. They were already all in. Or they had already bought on the way up by the time that this hit distribution. And until we get more liquidity to come in from something like retail, maybe it's Robinhood, maybe it's Coinbase. Yeah, there weren't any more marginal buyers of Whiff. So that does probably at the very least complete this cycle for Whiff. But I'm still not ready to say that it's just going to die forever. Maybe that's nostalgia because I did well with Whiff, but yeah, I still like the dog that happens to have a hat that, you know, the hat's not why people are trading it right now, but maybe it is someday. But if all your dog has is a hat, how does that measure up to a dog that has a bonk? Or I'm sorry, I can't even make the jokes, but yeah, no, the dog lost the hat. I will miss all the profile pictures with the dog with hat guys because the dog is pretty cute. But I would also say usually when all of the same people with a similar profile picture start to kind of all have very mid-curve opinions on the market, that is kind of notable too, right? Like the people who all have like dog with hat profile pictures now, I'm kind of like, well, it's been a while since I've seen a good take from you guys.
Tell me, you mentioned that it reminds you of Spell. Did you mean this price action or was it a different one?
The top, it was more so like after the FTX listing, you can't see it anymore because unfortunately all of FTX's price history is gone. But
let me try the index. Maybe it's there. Yeah.
Kind of, sort of, not really. This is like the most exaggerated parabola and complacency bounce I've seen in a while.
Yeah, now I see what you mean there. Like, kind of, like we are supposed to be like somewhere here, I suppose.
Yeah, or maybe even like FTM, I guess.
Oh boy.
But it's all kind of like the same concept. Like
imagine
parabola.
we are here.
Oof.
and people think it's like really low, it's a good time to buy, and then you know what I mean? Like people will be thinking like, oh, look at that wick.
Who do you think is going to be the first like asshole to say, "Oh, your coins are down 95%. They can go down another 95%." It's like banking. No.
I know who would say though that this wick is going to get filled.
Where is that outlook?
Oh, man, but
With
this
this wick,
no,
and then it broke.
like I think legit that mostly these coins again you would need like for this one to turn bullish, right? You would need at least like a bottoming rotation and then turn around. But this is like what you need. You need to start flipping levels. Until then, everything is just a like you're always going to get a sell-off and bounce with that price structure, right? Or you may even get something like this, and then there's that quick pump, right? Like it's inefficient. It doesn't retrace to any support or nothing. Just a pump. It's faded, and you know
That's
how
a
it
short
goes.
closing bounce if it happens. Usually,
Yeah, and that's it, right? That's I call it exactly, Tommy. It's a short closing, and it's to hunt the shorts, and also for the market makers to unload all the crap that they bought. Because like when bag holders are selling on the way down, they have to be the counterparty to buy. And do you think they want to sell lower? No, they want to stay like neutral. Yeah, of course, but at least that's what they say. But we know that to stay neutral, they gotta sell higher simply. So, um, anyways, I think it's going to rather like slow bleed lower, become slowly, it's going to slowly fade away, become unimportant, and then usually at the time when you tell people, hey, I told you so, nobody cares anymore, because at the time you have a new shitcoin that's looking like this, right? And everyone is like, oh, it's a new thing, and then it becomes this again. So you it's not easy for a retail guy to do it, right? That's why scam influencers unload on you up there. It is what it is.
it is what it is, man.
It is what it is.
I mean, we've seen this, like altcoins majors will probably more or less continue to grind up forever, given that they have passive flows now coming in. But shit coins, they will be in cycles contingent on liquidity probably forever, and that is a feature.
Oh my gosh! Don't look at that.
Holy
That's
cow.
awful.
Is there any
The
coin that
feature
looks like that?
of money. Listen, we finally hit new all-time lows, man. This was the largest ICO in history of crypto, by the way. And
Jack, is somebody's mad
took-
that we were talking negatively about the dog with the hat again?
Wait, what happened?
Somebody's mad that we were talking negatively about the dog with the hat again.
I know.
People
We are
get
flooding
really
their
upset
veins.
about that coin, man.
They do, but they shouldn't be mad at us. They should be mad at the scam influencer with the hat, not us. But
yeah, when is the
unfor-
dog getting on the spear, man? Is that ever happening?
Wait, what
Not
spear?
anymore. They're
I
out of
mean,
one.
literally, what's the point of putting the dog on the spear at this point? I mean, the parabola is broken. It's going to zero. If they were going to put the dog on the spear, the Vegas spear, that is, for those who might not be familiar, they fundraised. It was very egalitarian of the WIF whales to fundraise from their own community while they held probably like 20 or 30% of the supply. But yeah, when is the dog getting on the spear, man? And is it going to even matter at this point? Because market structure is busted. It is busted. But I'll let you go back to what you were saying, Jackus.
No, Ryan definitely nailed it. Thank you. And man, like I like this is fucking crazy. All right, it's been 2,450 days. And it took all this time, but even the USD pair is now lower. So the largest ICO in history, even on the USD pair. And the BTC pair, oh boy.
Oh
Like
God.
And the funny thing is that I was like doing this, like, I think right here or something, first time. Yeah, I think it was right here. And I did this. It took all this time and it's there. Right? And I mean, it's sad, but you can either cry about it or laugh at it. So, yeah.
I would
I-
look for alts that are at support or at market structure right now, not ones that are below or have lost it. They're out there.
Yeah, that's-
Bonk is one. Let's see. What are some other ones?
Look at Inge. Pull up
Mog.
Inge. I have to run soon, but something like Inge or a lot of them look similar where they're coming into some good demand levels here. 1 inch is too old.
What else?
Pull up Inge. What do you think of it?
I
INJ.
pulled it up.
Sorry, INJ.
Oh, okay.
I guess I'm the only one that calls it Inge.
Yeah, you said that to me before the stream, and I was like, "Are you talking about Hinge? Like the dating app? Aren't you married?"
What is Inch?
Hinge. Easy.
I mean, INJ is looking good, and I said this, but until it comes back and reclaims structure, it can also just be perpetually bleeding. So, but it is at higher time frame support, right? So it has a good chance to revert from here, but I need to see more, though.
I may or may not be buying some, but I gotta run. I'll see you guys later.
Before you do, Louis, I actually haven't. And I do hope it's still there. But I think 1 inch, sorry, your inch could be right now, right here. Could be. So this was 8th in prior cycle.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
It could be like
yes.
Like this could happen. This was, for those of you that do not know, right? This was 8th. In prior cycle, it ran as a first to new all-time highs, then it kept bleeding all the way back to support, and then it started to go really a lot. So that could be the case for Inch.
A lot of 2021 coins ran up, bled 75 to 80%, and then ripped thousands of percent. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
But so, it's been a pleasure, guys. My wife has a doctor's appointment. I gotta run. I'll see you guys probably next week. Thanks for coming out, fans, guys, watchers, viewers. Please like the video. And Tommy and Jackus, I'll see you when I see you.
All right. See you.
All right. See you,
Thanks.
Louis.
Yeah, man. Oh man, what a some of these charts, man. Just like scrolling through them.
Not good.
Yeah, I kind of think this is going to do what Bonk. Actually, you know what this reminds me of, Jackus, is actually Solana. I look at Pepe and I see this, like literally on repeat.
Yeah, the top.
Yeah.
I mean, me too, and I hope it's otherwise. I like Pepe. I always loved like the thing is that with Pepe, there's an actual meme behind Pepe, right? Like the frog has been the native meme of the internet versus, dog with a hat is just dog with a hat.
Just a dog with a hat. Does your dog wear a hat, Jackus?
No. No.
I hate fitting fractals on a Pepe. Even on
Yeah.
man.
Oh, Max would just full stack GG right now, Tommy, for showing.
Max is watching right now. I know he's like internally screaming at me doing this.
He's like, how can he do that? How dares he? The sad part is that it fits so much.
I know it really does. Like the deviation high is so similar. It's what I don't like, but I'm holding Pepe still, even through this. I don't really view it as the end of the cycle, so I don't know if this will play out exactly. I think it's more likely to do something like what Bonk did, where, I mean, I guess Bonk didn't make the deviant high, but it comes down, kind of back into the range and more or less just continues this, this perpetual move higher.
There is an older chart of Bonk. If you go on Bonk USD and put on the crypto index, just type Bonk USD, it has all the history there. Now you go Bonk USD. Yes, and then find the crypto one. Exactly.
Man, this is a wild chart. I don't even know what to make of this.
So I still think if it goes sideways here, forms a bottoming range, and then breaks upward, I think it's going to run for new highs.
So wild chart.
I think it, like, not saying like buy it straight away, but I think this one at least has a potential, right?
This dog does not have a hat. It's doing just fine.
Yeah.
Honestly, that 3-day RSI looks pretty solid too.
Yeah, it does.
I don't know. I mean, it could, I guess if majors come down, it could end up doing that again, but like.
Do you have an invalidation for Pepe there, Tommy?
I mean, yes.
Or what would make you sell?
I don't know if anything would make me sell Pepe, I'll be honest. Like, I think I'd be willing to even round trip it back here, knowing that I think I could sell it one day up here. But I'm different from most investors in the sense that I trade perps around what I hold a lot. So I'm pretty dynamic in the way that I position myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, that doesn't look the best, I have to say. And I was optimistic, obviously, that it looked fine.
Ignore we get that in the comments. Welcome, brother.
I want to talk about this chart, Jackus.
Oh no.
I want to talk about this because I've been talking about it in our Discord because I think it looks especially terrible.
It does.
Like, I do not know where support for this coin is if it's not here.
It's in my opinion, it goes slightly lower to like what is it, like 2.8 or something. I'm looking at your screen. I think it's like 2.8. Yeah, maybe lower slightly, 2.6 maybe.
I'm a lot more on this coin. It's a literal Ponzi scheme. A Ponzi scheme that ran out of buyers, and now if you don't reclaim this level, then I don't know. I mean,
yeah, I mean that was a clear topping formation for Pendle there, right? That's super clean, and I think that support is like going to bounce the price, but I think the top has been formed there pretty much. Again, it would have to drop to that support, form some structure. Then when it bounces on the bounce, you wanna hedge, and then if it continues further higher, you can close the hedge and let it run. Probably the best way to play this, but otherwise it's not looking good and can easily retrace all the way back down to like $1 or so.
I think
you are short Pendle, right?
I am short Pendle, yeah, from higher, but I think it's reflective of this chart, right? Like, there's just weakness present, in my opinion, in DeFi right now that we're seeing You know, maybe not directly reflected with ETH. Obviously, it's down a pretty good bit from its local highs near like 4,000. But I mean, if you want to know why ETH has been underperforming, look no further than this chart. And I've talked about this on this show before, but like look at the way DeFi ran up and study its relationship to ETH's price appreciation. Like you will always see more ETH leverage come in on chain, at least the type of leverage that moves price, and it also makes the float smaller. So when DeFi is super bullish, I mean, it's not just like that network effect that benefits ETH. It's literally a positioning thing too. I mean, people start staking their ETH, they start lending their ETH. They're more cash rich in ETH, so they just kind of have more of it to put into yield protocols and just loop, you know, back and forth and all that good stuff. And so far this cycle, we have not yet seen total DeFi really, you know, follow Bitcoin or even something like, I don't want to say necessarily Solana, because Solana USD, I guess, didn't quite make an all-time high, even though it did it on market cap. But yeah, I mean, I think this is an important chart, because if this is not an uptrend, it's going to be really difficult for ETH to outperform Bitcoin.
Yeah.
And I think this looks worse than Bitcoin from a structural standpoint. I mean, this is like...
So someone in the comment section mentioned Atom.
Oh, God.
And I mean, that's another example, right, of like quote unquote fundamentals. And it did make sense. But if the structure gets lost, then you better not be peg holding anymore.
Oh,
I mean, sad story.
Wow, this thing got fried. I would guess this comes back. Oh, man, this might come back down into like here.
Tommy, the thing is that I have never seen such a devastated market as it is right now. I think this is the worst crypto has been in, right? And that's an argument for like send everything. But the problem I see is that the bid will not come again. And I've been relentlessly saying this for a while, until the regulatory clarity comes in the US and the institutions are that they can buy in legally, basically. Like they can still do that in some ways, but I think until like the US is full for crypto, I do not see the trend changing, even how devastated it is right now. So that's not a pretty look right now, but US election is around the corner. So let's hope that the next administrative does something about it.
This actually doesn't look terrible, but
Hey,
it could have done a lot more, I guess. The thing that concerns me with some of these altcoin charts too, Jack, is if you look at their open interest, you never would guess that a lot of these coins made all-time highs in their open interest with charts like this. AVAX, I mean, I'm serious. Like AVAX is a perfect example. You look at AVAX, obviously that is not the all-time high of 2022, but I'll pull up Coinalyze real quick. And find AVAX. Let me share this tab instead. But you look at the all-time OI on it, and you're kind of like, what the hell? AVAX made all-time highs in open interest?
wow.
Look at Matic. Another good one. Shockingly, I know, guys, shockingly, I know. Matic made all-time highs in open interest. Would you have guessed? Probably not.
Those charts are...
Let's look at Filecoin. Let's look at some old charts to see if they made all-time highs in OI. Filecoin might not have, because, oh man, it almost did. Almost did. God, talk about wanting to fill a wick. Yeah, I mean, why? What does this even mean? I couldn't tell you. But it's not for a lack of effort. Cardano didn't. I will say Cardano didn't make an all-time high on OI. I think Near did though.
Send Cardano then.
Yeah, Near all-time high on OI. Not sure
Which
what it
ones
means.
which ones, Tommy, do you think that come out of this well? Like which coins are going to do well from here? Because we know like what I'm certain about, right? Or like certain, right? Like, well, we could almost say certain again, is that Larry Fink isn't joining this space to be dumped on. He's joining the space to, and he's like deploying on ETH, right? He's joining here to send this industry to double digits. But lots of these coins are dead and will stay dead. So which ones do you think turn around from all this misery?
As much as it's been shit on Jackass, I actually think TIA can come back. If there's any narrative that can make a comeback, I do think it's modularity. And you literally have a 6-month downtrend worth of shorts built up. And I could maybe see something like this for TIA. I know everybody's talking about it today. Might do something like that and then uptrend. Maybe not quite so like aggressive. Like it might be more like sideways for a while and then up. But I like TIA actually as far as fundamental coins go. I like ENS. As far as
ENS too.
Coins go, I mean, if you're talking about like ETH becoming the internet, the internet of finance, whatever you want to call it, whatever Larry Fink has been shilling it as, ENS is a great bet in my opinion. I mean, you're kind of picking.
Yeah. I suppose we will have to let the price dictate to us. But I always, if you can see my charts, right, I always point down to the fact how AMD looked like, because it looked like shit just not so long ago, to be honest, right? Like this is your average alt. It can look like shit. It can quickly turn around, but you still need that market structure break and so forth. Until then, there will be this is not going to be
chart.
That's a wild chart, and I use it, and I'll advance, and I on purpose started like this. You'll, by the way, have lots of charts, right, that will just perpetually bleed. So this is not going to be every single alt, and you never kind of know which one these going to be. You'll have lots of scamfluencers like pick like probably like 100 coins, and one of them will make it, and they'll be like C. The thing is that I want to talk about is like, look at how really bad AMD looked just 9 years ago. Like it's really bad. You would tend to think that like this is never coming back, and then they probably made few changes, right? And then guess what? This is your AMD chart. So I'm pretty confident. I'm pretty confident that the bid is going to come to this entire industry, especially when the regulatory clarity comes. What I am having a hard time is picking right now, like which ones are going to be the outperformers, right? So I do not know, but I wouldn't like just because the chart locally looks bad, I wouldn't necessarily leave or anything, because usually that doesn't mean again that there will be lots of coins that just perpetually bleed, right? And they will never tell you about it. And I see the same thing, by the way, with stocks. Like you will have stocks people tell you like, hey, these guys are solving this, and then the chart looks something like this, right? It got the hype, and then the stock is doing basically the same thing, and then there's that, right? So it's the same in the stock land too. Like I've seen lots of these, and they will keep on talking about it like, hey, I'm buying more, I'm buying more, I'm buying more. So it's not really different there. But in general, right, I think lots of alts are currently around somewhere like this time frame on AMD, and or like this structure, and then we'll see like which one of these are this. So the worst case for most people is to be leaving right now, which is something I saw saw a lot after 2019. I saw lots of people leave in frustration, and 2018, of course, but 19 as well. And then they came back right at 2021. So.
Yeah, I know. I agree. I think this is the exact wrong time to leave the market. I know it can feel very dejecting, obviously, when you had expectations for what alts were going to do, for what meme coins were going to do in the first half of this year, and having not seen it yet, maybe even that we continue to drop lower. But from just look at the charts over time, right? Like if you're holding the right assets in crypto, which is a big asterisk, right? Like you have to hold the right assets, but if you're holding the right ones over time, there's a pretty good likelihood that eventually that asset is going to reach a parabola again. And you'll be able to sell it higher. But I think the problem with so many people right now, Jack, is that how many people are holding the newest meme coin of the week, and they think that holding that meme coin for multiple years is going to be, the way to make it. And I don't know that I feel quite the same way about a lot of these shit coins, because we're seeing like even to their native assets like Solana and Ethereum, and I'm sure you could name some other ones too, but they are having their value destroyed from these meme coins on chain. It's not creating value anymore. The rotations are too quick, the participants are too PvP, and it's not accruing value to meme markets. It's literally just destroying value from the denominated asset, something like a Solana or an ETH. And yeah, I mean, I don't know that we've quite seen the full effects of what that actually means for something like Sol. So yeah, I just think it needs to be said. But I do think you look at these high time frame charts, and stock market charts over the last 20, 25 years are a great indication of what is in store for a lot of these crypto assets. Yes, they might have had an underwhelming cycle here, something like an AVAX, but probably over a 10 or 15 year span, it will likely trade a lot higher. Not that I'm advocating to hold AVAX, because I would never, and I think Wabi would kill me for even but I think it's an example, right? Like study stock charts, something like Nvidia, man. You can see how these things trade over time. It's usually not just parabola, consolidate, nuke, parabola. Crypto's kind of known for that, but it makes sense for some of these larger cap altcoins to begin trading more like tech stocks did in the wake of maybe, like, I guess, the mid 2000s. But
yeah,
somebody asked about, wait, what were you going to say, Jackus?
Just quickly here, right? I want to do that. Like when AVAX was trading around these price levels, I was saying that I'm not pretty much because it pretty much lost the structure on this drop, right? And I was saying that
like Pepe, doesn't it?
that's what I was gonna say, is that it always does look like this, and then there's the continuation. So they will drag it right kind of sideways, and then there's a solve. And I was saying I need to see first this before I can be bullish again, because otherwise it's like, giant SR, it lost the structure here. And where is the next one, right? The next one was right here, and it doesn't even need to hold it. It can even drop below first. So like do this. And I have also seen lots of charts, right, Tommy, that went up in October and are now back down to their levels. Like in that regard, I think AVAX is still holding pretty strong. Not so weak. It's not so weak.
Well, there was a happy ending for the tech stocks that did something kind of similar to this, huge parabola in the tech bubble. They had an echo bubble, and then they basically just got turbo bid for the next 15 to 20 years. So don't lose sight of the forest through the trees, guys. Yeah, we got a question about TIA. Yes, there's a big supply release in October. I mean, depends on the market conditions, right? But teams will always try to pump the token into a supply unlock, like without fail. So usually about a week or two before that, you'll start to see maybe the hedging pressure come in a bit stronger. But if Bitcoin and ETH can cooperate at all, I think that they're going to try to pump TIA. And I actually think this is a pretty good spot for it to bottom. Like, you could make another lower time frame low, but as an investor, I actually am not even that opposed to buying some TIA here. But I guess we'll have to see how time kind of impacts that chart a bit more, because as we're seeing with some of these, like an AVAX, a whiff is probably going to take a lot longer to recover than something like a TIA from a structural standpoint. TIA's move, it was rapid, but it was more efficient than whiffs. Like whiff was just a very inefficient, basically 12x off the lows, or from that accumulation range without really any consolidation. But TIA was a little bit different. So you'd like to think it can maybe find some structure down here, but maybe not. I like TIA though. Like I kind of like the chart with a little bit of elbow grease. I've been saying that a lot lately. Like, I need to see the chart with a little bit of elbow grease, because it's not there yet, but it could be. It could be. And I think that's kind of been the name of the game for a lot of these altcoin setups over the last few weeks. Is I can see a setup forming, but I need to see a little more. And if you give yourself kind of that extra little bit of margin for error to be wrong, you'll save yourself, at least in these conditions, from some terrible altcoin trades, at least in my experience. But yeah, question about Hood. I'm going to steal the screen back from you, Jackus. And then I think we'll probably wrap up after we talk about it. But I like Robinhood, guys. I compared it to Cardano a lot, and how it's like, you look at this accumulation range, you look at something like ADA, go back here, you can kind of see it, right? Like, the accumulation range looks pretty similar. I think if equity markets are going to continue to do what they're doing, this is what I'm expecting from Robinhood. Like, it's probably going to absolutely send. It's one of the more undervalued stocks relative to what it provides. And yeah, I mean, it's really as simple. Like, it's like an altcoin for the stock market. If equities and big tech continues to chad, I don't see any reason why Hood doesn't follow. But if it doesn't, then, you're probably looking at a chart that's kind of similar to these crypto markets. You get that like shoulder, and then eventually it goes like that, if I had to guess. But I think equities look pretty solid here.
So I just had a breakdown from Putty's Bandit comment. He was like, I sold my forest to JP Morgan. I don't know even why, but it was so funny.
If anybody in the comments can decipher what these vertical lines are, I think I'll send you 1 ETH, but I don't think anybody will be able to do it. So that's just conjecture on my part, messing around. I'll tell you what it is.
There must be some astrology. There must be some astrology.
Well, now that you've given it away, I can't give away if somebody guesses it, but
Oh, sorry.
It is an astrological thing. Mid-cycle, so interesting to note with the S&P. But I think that's a good spot for us to be wrapping up. Pluto is a good guess given my background, but it is not involving Pluto. I'm going to go live to the bull and wall here again, guys, to wrap up the show. We are still battling the Bearletariats versus the Bolivians. Mercury retrograde's a good guess, but no. Mercury retrograde happens, I think, multiple times a year, and it's almost always bad for crypto, though. That is alpha. But all right, yeah, we can wrap things up here, guys. I felt like it was a great show. I have no idea if you hit the like button or not, but we hope that you enjoyed just kind of hanging out with me, Jackus, and Louis today. We covered a lot of material as we continue to sit at the bull and wall waiting for resolution. But a reminder, guys, that we have launched our brand new hedge fund, BB Wealth Management, that is run by the BB team. And of course, it is done so in a way that takes into account crypto's asymmetric history for upside returns, as well as the investment risks posed in any markets. It is a fund that is capable of going long and short. So notable, obviously, in conditions like these, but we are beyond excited, not just that we can trade this fund as a team, but also that we can offer you guys, the community, the opportunity to participate in it as well. So if becoming an LP or an accredited investor is something that interests you, we do have more information linked in the description of this video. Just reach out to us via email. We will try to get back to you as quickly as we can, and hopefully answer any and all of your questions. But we also have the BB Academy, which has been launched for probably about, I want to say 2 or 3 months at this point, maybe not quite that long. But it is still, I would say, for bang for your buck that you get from this course, it's one of the best courses on the entire market, if not the best, because we do have such a variety of talent on this team and a variety of different approaches to the market. So I think it's an incredibly valuable perspective to see how a team of traders approaches the market. And if you have maybe a skill set that you're looking to hone, obviously, if you're trying to form your educational base, it is a fantastic course for you. So we do have more information linked in the description of this video as well. So check that out if that's something that interests you. But not to forget, guys, Market Check will be back for another episode tomorrow morning, same time as always, our typical start time around 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Market Talk hosted by King Wabi. Timing will vary a little bit more, but if you stay following and subscribe to our Twitter, you will be notified when we go live. But that's it from us, guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your Tuesday, a fantastic rest of your week if we don't see you again, which I hope we do. It's only Tuesday. But yeah, guys, thanks again. We will be back tomorrow for another episode. Max and Tucker should be back fairly soon as well. So we're looking forward to getting them back on. As I know it's going to be crazy having everybody come back, and it's like, it's going to be like Monday on steroids, Jackus, where everybody's just been simmering on opinions for so long, and then they finally get to cook, and it's like, get a delicious meal out of it. That's what you guys are going to get. An absolutely fire meal. But that's it from us, guys. Thanks again for tuning in. Signing out now. I wish I had Tucker to do the salute, but I will do it for him. And yeah, thanks again, guys.